Hello, welcome to You Haven't Blanked That. I'm Forrest.
And this is Jimmy.
Today we're going to talk about Surf Nazis Must Die.
I have 12 pages of notes.
Oh, for an 80-minute movie.
For an 80-minute movie. Okay,
for 80 minutes of pure joy. I remember liking this movie a lot more when I bought it.
So, I also own this movie because the way I was going to watch it, I kept stopping every 5 minutes in. So, it was $2.99 to rent or $5 even just to buy it. So, I figured...
You took the $5 hit, and now you own it for life.
Now I own it for life.
That's probably better than I think I paid $15 or $20 for it online years ago, so yeah. I think you win.
So between the two summaries for this movie, I was either way into it, and I was kind of I don't know how I feel about this.
Okay.
So the first one is when the son of a gun-wielding woman is murdered by a neo-Nazi surf punks in the post-apocalyptic future, his mama hunts them down for some bloodthirsty revenge. Right? That sounds badass, right? And then the other one is an earthquake leaves the California coastlines in ruins and reduces the beaches to a state of chaos. A group of neo-Nazis led by Adolf, the self-proclaimed Führer of the new beach, takes advantage of the resulting chaos by fighting off several rival gangs. To seize control of the beach, meanwhile, an African-American oil well worker, I didn't know that was his job in the movie, but Leroy is killed by the surf Nazis while jogging on the beach. Leroy's mother, Mama Washington, devastated by the loss of her son, vows revenge. After arming herself with a handgun and grenade, she breaks out of the retirement home and extracts vengeance on the surf Nazis.
So here's what that reminds me of, both of those. It's like that Simpsons bit. There's the truth, and then the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie 20%. And the thing is, seeing that, I just dragged my feet to even start it. 2 weeks went by, I'm like, damn it, okay, let's watch it. I watched it twice. First time, I fell asleep because I was sick, and so I was kind of half watching it. And the second time, because I found out that it was the same director of Dr. Strangelove.
Okay, no it's not.
Is it? That's what I got off of Wikipedia.
Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick is the...
I was like, wow, director. That's amazing. Is it not?
It is not Stanley Kubrick's movie.
This isn't his first movie? Well, no. That's a lie.
Where did you find that?
Wikipedia, dude.
Wikipedia did not say this is a Stanley Kubrick movie.
100%. Or was it Rotten Tomatoes? It was one of the two. I don't remember. So, when this movie was released, the critics were just bored. They said it was hard to follow, the acting was cheesy, and the dialogue was crap, and Roger Ebert stated that he walked out of the film 30 minutes in. All that said and done, I fucking love this movie. I love it so much.
I liked it much more as a child. And I say, it's a weird thing to say. I like this, but I did. I remember being 12 and we'd go rent movies every weekend with my pops. And we're there, and I saw the cover of this, 12, and I'm like, let's rent this. And my dad's like, yeah. And my stepmom's like, nope.
You went, because the cover, I didn't know what to think of it either, because the cover is a guy with a hook on a surfboard with a chainsaw.
With the switchboard.
No, it's the chainsaw board, and this girl just screaming at the bottom of the wave.
Yeah.
And
that's Troma for you, though. That's their posters look better than their movies all the time. How much cooler does the Toxic Avenger poster look than the Toxic Avenger itself?
Oh, that's true. That poster was really cool. I remember going to the video store, stealing the Toxic Avenger cover case, and I had it in my room as a thing.
They kind of do a Warriors thing, too. Did you notice that?
They with all the rival gangs and stuff. Does this movie have a cult following, though?
I don't know if it's had a cult following. I think it's kind of like people like us who like horrible, shitty things.
Okay, because well, first off, this movie wasn't shit. Second of all, it kind of reminded me of Six String Samurai. It has like kind of like that like string shoe budget. I thought this movie was a fun movie. The soundtrack alone, perfect. It fits so good, and also like which is super cool is that a lot of this movie was filmed right down the street at Huntington Beach, Seal Beach, Sunset Beach,
where the Hitler equivalent kills the guy jogging.
Adolf?
Leroy. Do you think that's like a reference to the Jesse Owens Olympic thing?
Oh, yeah. There's tons of World War II.
There's the Asian gang and there's the American gang, and like there's all that stuff.
But the Japanese gang.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I wonder if that's supposed to be.
Oh, probably
The Jesse Owens running thing.
The first go around when I saw this movie, I couldn't focus. I didn't want to deal with it, and I was. Plus, I have an issue with Nazis. I don't know if everybody has problems with Nazis, but I totally do.
I do.
Kind of didn't give it any mind. The second time, I watched it at work. Not when I was working, but on my breaks, lunch, and like afternoon break from my desk.
What's good though is that you can actually fit that into a whole break schedule.
Oh yeah, you can. Like,
no, you can. It's an 80-minute movie. You can fit it if you get an hour lunch.
Yeah,
you can totally fit that into it.
No, 100%. That's what I did, and it was. I really enjoyed this movie.
I'm going to say something that I would never say anywhere else. They can make this work, and you're going to be like, why the fuck would you do this? And I'm going to base this off of commercials of these movies I've seen, because I've never seen an actual movie with this person, but I have seen a movie that this person directs. They should remake this movie and have the old lady be Medea.
I would still watch that. I would watch that.
I'm not into those, but I feel like I'm like, oh, I think this would work.
Oh, so I think what I found out about this movie, because I was trying to... So hard to find information about this movie online because it's slim pickings. There's really nothing out there.
Yeah.
But so the original version of this movie was supposed to be like an elderly woman having to shoot him out, like, adventure in the inner city. And the director was driving around town in Seal Beach, I think. He was in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And he saw a punk kid just wrote down surf Nazis on the side of a building or whatever. And he's like, oh, that's cool. And just ran with that idea and just switched it over to that. So the acting could not be any better. I freaking love it so much. There's a part, they're having that whole gang meeting. They're going to take over. The biker guy is like, what's this all about, Kraut? Adolf comes out, and then this guy gingerly tosses him like a bag of sand, and then he stabs it. He goes, sand! And then he gets his hand and his knife stuck in the sand, and like it's not part of the thing, but he's like awkwardly kind of nervous about not
pulling it out,
and then he pulls it out, and he goes, there's not enough of it. And then, like, it's just so dumb. It's the fact that they're trying so hard and they're bad at it is very endearing. I love this movie.
I swear I feel like this is the only movie that follows the villain more than the hero.
Yeah. So, wait, yeah. Well, first off, Mama Washington, holy shit. She is my new favorite action star hero. I love her more than anybody. Love her more than Rambo. Love her more than Terminator and Terminator 2, like more than Bruce Willis and Die Hard. She's amazing. It was at lunchtime, and it was that whole like love scene where
they're banging and
banging in the thing. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's gonna be just a little gropey. It won't be that bad.
Nope.
No, shit.
Full on banging right there on the beach.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then it was so creepy too, which is like they have such a weird segue between like them banging and then Gregory, but they call him, what is it, Smeg?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Smeg like crawls over the rocks, and then he has this like, oh man, someone's doing it! And his eyes are all big, and then he's just peeping for a long time. And then you just follow him crawling back the other side of the rock after they're done, and then it leads into like a Nazi just beating up some guys.
Well, there's like, that whole movie is weird segues.
It's all weird segues. I think that's why I love it so much.
People say this is one of the worst movies ever made.
No, this is a classic. I love it, and I will defend it to my dying
day. Do you watch
day.
any other Troma movies? I mean, outside of Toxic Avenger?
Yeah, well, isn't Romeo and Juliet?
Oh, yeah, Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I've seen, like, I know how weird and just grotesque they could be.
Sergeant Kabuki Man?
I haven't seen that one.
I don't know.
That's that Kabuki NYPD, right?
Yeah, I don't know that well.
I heard about it. I kind of want to put it on my list to watch.
Here's what I think I've realized is that movies from the 80s and the 90s like this, like a lot of the Troma stuff, I'm a little more forgiving because they were still learning...
Boundaries?
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, I'll give you the boundaries one. But I was going to say, like, effects. Like, they were still trying to figure out effects and things that they could do.
I thought what they did here was good. Like,
no, they do it well, but, like, I'm a little more forgiving on things from, like, the 80s and 90s. But we're at this point, I would say, like, once you get to, like, 94, 95...
Oh, are you talking about, like, when, like, Mama throws a grenade at the end of the movie and it slides, like, 10 times before landing right next to the guy's head? It pans from, like, camera left to camera right, and then it pans again from camera right to camera left, and it's just, like, back and forth, like, 4 times before, like, landing in the spot.
Kinda, yeah. One of those. Once you hit, like, 93, 94 Reservoir Dogs, where you can make a movie on a shitty budget, then I'm kind of...
I love really good, well put together movies, but I have, like, that underdog, like, yeah, you fucking did it, man, like, those, like, really crappy kind of whatever movies. It just reminds me of, like, movies like we used to make. Remember? Like, where we used to get camcorders and then just like, oh, we're going to do this and just kind of act it out. But obviously they made it into a movie. Like, this is, like, the type of movie where I think, like, Kevin Smith would be like, oh, I could do that. Let me be a director. If they could do that, I could do this. Even because
that's essentially what he's doing right now, anyway. With the exception of Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah,
but that's what Tusk was. Tusk was like, oh, I can do this. I'll just fucking do it because I can.
Yeah, and this is like a very. Like, I think this is a great movie that kids should watch. That it's like this. The premise. No, I do. I think it's a good movie. Well, not like. Children,
movie,
but like teenagers
for
teenagers to watch.
But this is one of those movies that you have to find though. You
have to find.
Like when my kids are like teenagers, I have all my crazy movies all ready to go, and I'm just gonna leave them on the shelf, out and discover what the fuck is this.
These movies just have such a stupid concept of like Nazi like ruling a beach
in a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles.
Yeah, and it's just like fuck it. Like if you have an idea, like fuck it, just carry it through and make it happen. Like this is like literally. I wish I would have pulled up how much the budget was on this. I don't think it was much, and I think I think this is like they should show this. Take that back. I was about to say they should show it in school. But you know what? I think they should. It's a good movie. I really love this movie. And that's not because, like, you know, I love that whole 80s culture of, like, you know, of surfing and skateboarding and stuff like that. But, but it's a really, like, I've read a lot. I've read more stuff than I have watched movies. But I am pretty good at pop culture to, like, catch kind of the big stuff. But everything else, I haven't. Because the thing is, for a while, I just literally just had, like, my Walkman and my skateboard and hang out with friends, and then we record stuff with a giant camcorder, doing tricks and whatever, and just kind of hanging out. And like we would edit those into like movies, and we would watch our movies. Yeah. So like, you know, like I find like this as like a very like reminiscence to like what we used to do. So like, I think that's probably why I really love this movie, because it seems very homemade, whatever. And they're surfing, and like I don't know if they're gonna go really hard on it or not, but
it's very campy.
They only dropped 2 N-words.
Only 2
in this movie. Hold on, but honestly, for an 80s movie, like that's pretty good.
That's pretty good for an 80s movie.
But also for like dealing with Nazis in it.
No,
like,
I know, I got
you. I mean, like it's like that's why I was kind of nervous about watching, because like I don't want to hear it. Like I don't like that word. I don't want to just.
Actually, the surfing scenes reminded me a lot of the Point Break ones. Kind of did the same things in the surfing scenes.
Well, so I found out too that the surfing's actually like the major surfing that you see they're doing. That's not here in Huntington Beach. All that's filmed in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the waves are really nice. I'm really digging these surf movies. Like, I really am. So, the van in this movie, I freaking love it. The shark van?
Yeah.
It was all camoed out, and then they did the shark teeth and, like, the fin on top of the van. I thought that was super dope. The director, I found out after he did that, he basically just got rid of the swastikas on the back of the van, and he just drove that as his car.
Well, did you notice they're the backwards ones?
Yeah, I noticed
all the swastikas are backwards on it.
And then, like, the first opening scene is pretty dope, too, where it's, like, the guy's like, who rules the beach? Surfers! Who rules the surfers? Nazis! Surf Nazis! Oh, it's so good. After watching it, Forrest, I was online within seconds trying to find a Surf Nazis Must Die t-shirt.
Did you find one?
Oh, I found a really cool one, but the problem is like the company
Troma.
they have the rights for it. They only made so much shirts and that's it. So there's like one. The scene with Gregory and his mom, I thought that was super dope too.
Yeah.
Like,
Shut up, Mom.
No, we're totally gnarly.
No.
Yeah.
No, Mom, we're not doing anything bad.
No, Adolf's really cool. Adolf, is that what Ricky Johnson's calling himself? Like, so good.
Like, I there's lots of things that they did that I wish they would have gone back to and like would have played up more. Like, it's an 80-minute movie where it's like it kind of like grounds everything.
Yeah. The only part where this movie kind of just like lost me was the end.
Yeah, because
too much.
It gets weird because it does that weird scene where they're trying to be artsy,
yeah.
but like they're far away and there's all that smoke and you can't see what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
And he's just yelling at the
and they're in the junkyard.
Yeah,
and then it was just like, okay, if you could wheel that in, this would be a really dope movie. Oh, also super art scene like which I loved is when Leroy died. Leroy grabs Adolf and he holds him down to the ground. Then Adolf's like, "Oh, you hear that? It's your mama's calling you. You better go back home." He looks up to the left, and then you see the door open, and then you see this figure out of shape kind of walk forward. I thought it was like death, like like they're gonna show like the Grim Reaper, and then like you see it's his mom like walking in. You're like, "Oh, that's a weird cut."
They go back and forth,
and then you realize,
yeah.
and then like it cuts to reality where it's just the two Nazis with the pipe. They obviously like bash his head in or something. They continue with the shot with the mom walking in, and you realize she's walking into the city morgue to like, identify the body. And I was like, dude, that was a dope transition for like a crappy movie that this is. I thought it was, dude, stellar work. Like, I was super happy about watching this movie. When Gregory or Smeg is talking to the two girls with the giant boobs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, blah blah, we killed like that guy the other day, blah blah blah," and like. Leroy's mama's like above them or nearby, and she's like running over to like see what's going on. She grabs Gregory, forces him against the wall. "What'd you say, you punk ass bitch?" or whatever. And she just goes off on him. So that wall, that mirror on that wall, that, do you know what that is?
No.
Do you know where it's from? That is the cover for In the Court of the Crimson King. So there's two things I thought of immediately when I saw that. One, it's tied to Stephen King's The Dark Tower because the Crimson King is like the villain in the story. And then also, two, it reminds me of season 4, episode 3 of the Venture Brothers. Yeah, Perchance to Dean. Because that's the one where like he progressive rock or whatever. So as soon as I saw that, I just started laughing.
Oh, fuck.
And then the music goes up, but I can't tell whether that music's score in that segment is In the Court of the Crimson King or something else. I tried looking it up, but I couldn't figure it out.
For as cheesy as that movie was, I mean, the whole thing is an allusion to World War II in the very cheesy surf Nazi way.
Yeah, and then, but like, and also like, so when like, because like he's bragging about like he killed the black guy and whatever. Mama's holding him down because that's her son that he's talking about nonchalantly about it.
Yeah,
like it just 100% reminded me of what Dr. Venture said about In the Court of the Crimson King, which is you're not ready to step into the court of the Crimson King. This stage of your training, an album like this could turn you into evil scientists. Dr. Rusty Venture, and it blew my mind. I'm like, oh, dude. But obviously, I'm probably reading too much into it. It was just like the Court of the Crimson King, her like holding him down, like questioning him, like where his stance is, like in his life. Like I thought, like, oh, dude, this is so meta. Like it was a cool little moment. I nerded out really big at that point. I love it so much. The only thing that I don't think fits into this movie is one of the Nazi helpers. It's like the one...
the one that's not Schmeg or Hook or... Mangle.
Yeah, the one with the black coat.
Mangle?
Mangle? Yeah.
But he's supposed to be in there. He's supposed to be like Joseph Mangle. Okay,
well, the reason why I didn't like him is because Mama obviously burns down the Nazi surfboards and then they're all angry. And so they think it's the rival gangs pushing them back. So now they're attacking all the beaches. And they're moving down to the Japanese beach.
But that's...
This hippie comes by, he goes, "Hey, you're not allowed to surf here. Only surf Nazis are supposed to surf here." He goes, "What? No, whatever." And this hippie's carrying his love surfboard over. He goes, only Adolf could surf here." And he goes, "Who's Adolf?" And he leaves, but he makes sure he smacks the guy with his surfboard. And like the guy is just so mad, he goes up to the guy and literally just bites his fucking neck. And then he goes down, and then like the next thing, like then like obviously they're fighting on the beach, and then after like maybe 2-3 minutes of everyone else fighting and they're done, it's just Mangle just holding on to the hippie and lifting up his head like he just drank the guy's blood like a vampire, and then walks away. I'm like now we have vampire Nazis. Like I don't know where they were going with this, but it was just like a weird like I don't know.
I think
Do you know what I'm
more
talking about?
dramatic effect than anything.
Yeah, it was a bad choice. That's the only critique I have in this entire movie. While I was at work, and I was obviously in the break room, and
So you watched this in the break room?
yeah, but I have my headphones on, so like it's the Bluetooth headphones, so like I could listen to it. No one else could see it. I sit in the corner, so no one else could walk behind me without them. I could see them coming behind me. But it was the part where the waitress, the biker goes into the bar.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The waitress is like immediately just lifts up her top and it's just her tits are hanging out. And she goes and she's begging the biker
guy
if she could ride his hog and go for a ride one day. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. And then the guy's girlfriend pops up out of nowhere, pulls out a switchblade, cha-chink, and she goes, listen up, bitch. Like, one finger on my man again, I'll cut your pretty little titties right off. And I was like, oh my god, like, it's amazing. I have a huge turn on when I hear, like, girls say the word titties. So, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird.
This is sitting on so many cylinders for me.
I love it so much.
One of the ones I thought was funny was there's no room for Jesus on the beach. That's our final solution.
Oh, that's when the guy bites the guy.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I believe this is 1987's greatest movie. And like I like the first line too in this movie too. My notes are kind of all over the place because I was just so overwhelmed with joy watching this. The very first line is, "Goofy footers are inferior beings," and I believe that with my whole heart. So, overall, I give this. Oh, I was gonna say I give this like 4 swastikas out of 4 swastikas.
Wow,
that's really bad. I give this 4 switchboards out of 4 switchboards.
I'm gonna give it like 3.5 switchboards because it was a different experience as a grown-up.
Really? Okay, so let's talk about that then. Like,
Okay.
so as a kid, obviously you liked it, and I can see why as a kid it's cool.
Yeah, well, I had this thing where I wanted to collect all the, much like Ash wanted to collect Pokemons, I wanted to collect all the punk rock movies.
This is a great movie too. So, do you think that this movie for you've matured past this movie, or is it the fact that
I think
the premise is just too...
No, it's not even the premise. I think I've got to this point where music did with me. I think writing's ruining things I enjoy also.
I get that too, yeah.
And it's just one of those things like, yeah, but I don't want to stop writing. I know it's ruining shit, but I don't want to stop writing. But I bet you if I watch... Because like Rude Boy, that Clash one we had talked about before.
Yeah.
That one, there's not a lot of story to it, but I appreciate it because there's so much footage of the Clash.
Yeah.
We both. I recommend that we watch that movie, Dudes. We watched it. We both watched it. I know we didn't do it on here because I'd never seen it before. But it's a movie I've been looking for years because the Vandals were in it.
I freaking love that movie
and it was fun.
Yeah.
I liked... What did you like more, Dudes or this? Because Dudes also came out in 1987.
Wait,
let's
hold on.
explain what Dudes is first.
Yeah. So for everybody, Dudes...
It's John Cryer and Daniel Roebuck are punk rockers from New York. And their other friend is Flea. They want to move to California and be a punk rocker in California.
Right.
So they're driving out, and on the way there, they're camping somewhere and leaving with his group of like rednecks, try to rob him and scare him and beat the shit out of him. And they end up killing Flea, which is really funny because I think it's right when Flea quit Fear.
It's the lead singer for Fear is like the main bad guy, Montana.
It's essentially a punk rock western,
and it starts off with the Vandals
singing
urban struggles. So it's such a great like beginning to a movie. It has all the tropes you love in a western, but in this like weird tale about.
Well, and it's funny because like there's like a Mohawk punk who's like the Indian, and then there's like John Cryer who's the punk rocker,
the stoic cowboy. Yeah.
And it's John Cryer. It's fucking weird to see John Cryer as a punk rocker
with his Liberty spikes.
Yeah, and I like the ironic one that he was in fucking Superman 4.
No, he like honestly, I found that movie charming. Because it has more ties to like
Things you like.
My youth, with the surfing and the skateboarding, I liked Surf Nazis Must Die more.
You like Surf Nazis more than Dudes?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But Dudes is a great movie. If you haven't seen Dudes, but Surf Nazis Must Die, it's amazing. I love saying the title over and over again. I'm sure my internet browser history is going to be weird for a while. But I really, really do enjoy this movie.
I enjoy it still. Like I said, I think a lot of this is... I won't see a lot of these movies until the kids get older.
The thing is, like, I feel like this movie is a period piece. I don't think it'll ever lose its charm.
So the post-apocalyptic earthquake...
No, but the 80s post-apocalyptic...
It almost feels like it could be kind of an offshoot of, like, Escape from L.A.
Okay,
I feel like that would kind of fit into the whole Escape from L.A.
Or Escape from New York, and then this is the California version of it. No, this is too loose and goofy for that.
So Escape from L.A.?
Yeah. I feel like it belongs in Midworld, in the Dark Tower, only because of the Crimson King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so, Jimmy, next week we are going to watch the Bill Murray movie Stripes. Harold Ramis is in it also, so you're getting 2 Ghostbusters.
Yeah!
What do you think this is about?
I have like a visual in my mind of the cover, and it's like a war movie, right? Or
It's not a war movie per se, but it is definitely an army movie, if you will.
Okay, so
An army comedy.
those are dangerous words for it. It's got Bill Murray. I'm sure it's better than Navy SEALs, so my level is pretty low. So
All right.
we'll see.
Stripes is definitely better than Navy SEALs.
Okay, everybody. Well, that's it for this week. If you want to contact us, Forrest,
You can go to our Instagram at yhblankthat, or you can email us at
yhblankthat@gmail.com. Thanks. Bye.
bye.